Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
It's coffee time with Peter Gomez on Monday, the 16th of June, 2025. I want to talk to you now about our program tomorrow, Tuesday, the 17th. One of my guests will be the CEO of Access Bank, and we'll be talking about Access's recent takeover of the legendary, it has to be said, Standard Chartered Gambia Limited. So all your questions about the takeover by Access Bank of Standard Chartered tomorrow on Coffee Time between the hours of 9 and 10 a.m. on West Coast Radio. Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. But back to today, my guest is Abdou Aziz Sohna, who prior to coming sent me a message saying, "Hello, Uncle Peter, this is Abdou Aziz Sohna. Bulldrug Gambia is an anti-drug organization working on issues of societal security. The Gambia is a growing drug-consuming nation that has to be scary." So Abdou Aziz is here to talk about that with us. Abdou, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much, Uncle Peter.
You gave me a scare, though. You should have been here by 9 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, I was only calling to find out where you were. Did you have trouble locating West Coast Radio?
Yeah, no, I was at the junction already. Yeah. Then I was trying to communicate with one of our members to give them heads up before getting in.
Okay.
Yes.
Why is that important? You want them all to listen?
Yes, I was listening to one of them giving me something very important.
Okay.
That, it's not about one man giving ideas, but it's about collectively, solving.
And this something given to you is something you will be sharing,
today,
in
yes.
the next, hour or so.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to us about, Bulldrug. I mean, why did you decide to come up with Bulldrug Gambia, and who is in Bulldrug Gambia with you?
Initially, Bulldrug Gambia, the idea was coined in the streets. We live in the metropolitan area of Serekunda, Tipakunda. We came up with the idea when we were discussing about how our younger brothers are getting into illicits, and then we find it necessary that we should involve them, make sure that they are part of us, and then drag them to what we are directing to. So the thing was started in 2021. Since in 2021 we've been doing it, and then talking to one or two of them, and then subsequently we said this should be a legally registered, and then we should make it as an institution to make sure that these things are solving problems, not to just engage one or two people, because we have bigger plans and then bigger ideas to make sure that our communities are safe, because security is rely on the mental security is the most important part of society. So having our brothers and sisters involved in drugs is making our neighborhoods insecure, is making our future not bright, is bringing more damage to us, and then making parents more, working extra without having any dividend at the end of the day. And then students are getting out of schools, due to addiction. And then students are students are no more interested in having, a progressive life. So we ourselves, we are not successful people, but we are part of a community. So we have to collectively solve certain things that we are part of. That is how the idea came up. And then we sat and then we drafted a constitution. We met one of our elders, Uncle Idi. He just passed away. May Allah, bless his soul. Uncle Idi of Gamtel. We met him. He is just like an uncle, because in our neighborhood, we make sure that no matter how we are troublesome, but we make sure we have an elder that we will run back to and talk to, and then we seek his ideas, and then at the end of the day, that's how we carve our path. And then he told us that you are the ones in the streets. So it doesn't mean that when you are out there, you should not be part of a solution. You should be part of a solution. And then we drafted the constitution by ourselves, and then we went back to him. And unfortunately, before the constitution was done, he got sick, and then he was admitted, and now he's passed away. But his ideas are part of the constitution. And then today, the organization has been registered in last year, around October, officially registered. But we have so much, groundworks that we have done before we reach today.
Mm-hmm. We'll get into, how much work has been done and what kind of work has been done later on. Of course, we have a whole hour for this conversation. You just said a short while ago that you are not successful people. I mean, how do you measure success?
Yes, we are not successful people in materialistic sense. But
in that you don't own expensive cars.
We are not.
We don't own mansions and that sort of thing.
Yes. We are not how society perceives success. That's the context I mean. We are not seen as successful people because sometimes society do see people that they should not be they should not be part of a solution, solving problems when they are not successful. But for us, mentally, we are successful.
Fantastic. And if you ask me, the fact that you've chosen to come to this interview knowing that, this will subsequently be on YouTube in a T-shirt rather than, a suit and tie, as most people, tend to do, re-emphasizes the point that you don't rate success by how much material, one has.
Yes. That's very important to us, because we are representing our fellow comrades, the young people in the streets. Most of them are not criminals, but they found themselves in a trap. And that trap cannot be broken by the law enforcement agencies only. It could be broken by us together, and then solving problems that they are facing. And then we know the problems more than the authorities, so we are the people that the authorities should be engaging on, and then we are the first-hand information that what they need from the public. As an organization, anything that we say, anything that we write, we do it together. And when we do it together, we make sure we reflect the realities of our communities. We do not holistically care about what would be the outcome, but what we care is what will be on the right path at the end of the day. That is the most important thing we care about. Because when we do certain things like this, people do not see us as how we want them to see us. They see us how they wanted to see. But at the end,
how would you want people to see you?
As normal people.
As normal people.
That we are not the enemy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do they see you now? Or how do you think people see you now?
Sometimes when we engage some people, is the reality that they think that we are trying to be above them. When in real sense we are just trying to make sure that we engage them as civilized brothers and sisters. And sometimes we do approach parents as well, but parents do not accept the reality that their children or their someone who is under their care is into drug. Will not accept it at the initial point when you engage them that
by the way, feel free if you want to transition into Wolof and Mandinka and any other language that is spoken in this country. Feel free, because the drug problem is affecting everyone in society.
Yeah, yeah. They don't accept the reality. When you engage them, they tend to see you as someone who is tarnishing the image of their family. And that's one of the biggest problems we have.
I was going to ask, how does that impact the work you're trying to do?
Yes, it's but for us, we don't want people to just see us as how they want to see us. We have a belief, we have a mentality. The mindset that we have is no matter how good you do or bad you do, there is always something out of it, and that's something we believe in it. That is just, 4 days ago, we three of our members, we engage a parent that, okay, we don't have money, but all we can do is we can try to, National Youth Service schemes their forms are out. We can bring the forms. We will buy the form $100, and then we will register your son. And when we register him, we will need you to support us financially to make sure that he goes there and have this training. At the end of the day, this training will benefit you and the community and everyone. But the person says that, who told us that his child is not having support to do that? But we said that we know. We found this guy every day in the streets, and then we know exactly what he is doing outside. You don't know. But this is how difficult it is to engage family members, and they are the key people to engage, and we need their consent, especially dealing with students going to primary schools, to junior schools. We need the parental consent. We cannot just come and engage them at a certain level without their consent. So it's very difficult sometimes.
Yeah, but to get their consent would depend on how you approach them. So do you feel that Bulldrug Gambia needs capacity building in that area? Communication, maybe how to communicate with parents of suspected drug addicts. We would really appreciate that if we have any resource person who can help us with that. But our organization, we have a whole lot of, we are not saying very experienced people, but they are at the beginning of their careers. We have medical doctors, we have nurses, we have journalists, we have people studying law. We have, most of us are just recently graduated. Some of us are currently going to UTG, some are going to Majak, some are going to GTTI, different institutions, and their abilities is being showcased in the organization. There is potential.
There's potential.
But expertise is something, that may yet be,
For example, in the field of journalism, when we see people like you, we cannot just mention your name and mention someone else from our organization. That's totally wrong. So, for example, when we have legal issues, for example, dealing with the NDL, the NDLL Act, and then certain DLEA, the legalities and all that, we don't have that capacity to deal with anything legally. That's why we don't write anything about law, anything about those things, because we're being very careful to make sure that anything, but hopefully gradually we will get into that. We will get to that level. And even though when we go to bail someone at police stations, when we use one of our members' ID card or passport to guarantee the person, and then just to give the person confidence that we are behind you, we just want you to stop. We just want you to make sure that you don't come back here.
How is that helpful? Going out and bailing out somebody, with a drug problem, especially, if
we have bailed two people. One of them is a student. I met him, and I told him that, okay, today you have been caught with this, and you are a student. You have not even finished your grade 12 exams, so you have this bigger task. And one of our members is a teacher, and right now that guy helped this young man a lot in his grade 12 exams, and he has done the grade 12 exams, and now he's doing internship with these solar panel guy, Ibu, is doing with him, and hopefully the results will be out. This is how we do not interfere in someone who has a bigger scale of drug influence in society. We realize that this person is just a peer influence. This person is young, as doesn't even know, because between the ages of 13, 14, 15, 16, it's you're not yourself. You're just trying to fit into anything that fits with peers. So
you are at that experimental stage of your life, if you like.
Yeah. So we realize that this young man is not trying to be a big trafficker or a big consumer. He's just trying to fit in what's happening at his area, So we try to track him back, and then now he has been going to MDI to study in the evening, joining 2 girls, and then we've been trying to make sure that he's on the right track. And now he was in the academy training for football, and he stopped going, and we encourage him now. And now he's going for academy and going for the satellite solar panel installation, and he's doing that every time. Although we don't have any stipend to give him or anything, but all we have is the encouragement, the constant communication, give him that support system. That's all we have. That's our biggest resources we have right now.
And when you talk about being on the right track, is that another way of saying kicking the habit?
Yes.
Putting drug abuse aside.
Yes, putting drug use aside is key, but overnight you cannot tell someone to stop. Is engaging him constantly, making sure the person has the trust in you, giving him that primary source of relying on you. When we give them that, is through making sure that they know we are not their enemy, we are brother to them. We cannot give them. We make it clear at the initial point that we cannot give you telephone, we cannot give you laptop, we cannot give you gadgets.
You're there to help them kick the habit.
Yes.
So from the point you engage them up to the point you are satisfied that they've given up the habit, what happens? You accompany them in their drug use, right?
Yes.
I mean, you know that, as you say, they can't just give up
overnight.
Ganja overnight.
Yes.
So you've started with them today. Tomorrow you will know that they will what? They will smoke 1 joint or 2 joints?
Yes.
How do you measure,
yes,
their progress?
Yeah. That's very important. You cannot, I don't know, but for based on my capacity, I have not seen any drug rehabilitation center here in the Gambia.
One is coming up?
Yes.
One is coming up.
I haven't seen any, and then if there was a drug rehabilitation center, you could say
one will soon come up at Tranquil. They're putting up one in Tranquil.
We will be really happy to see that.
Yes.
When certain things happen, when we are engaging them, we know that they are not stopping, but they are trying to. They are struggling with their subconscious mind that I should stop this, but I cannot. But what we really want them to do is to make sure that they stop going to places that attract more of a consuming drug. For example, going to the nightclubs. For example, going to places that are very, not. I want to say just places that are very scary, but places that are not fit for a young person with ambition to go. These are places that are around our communities. These are places that are at the,
apart from nightclubs, you mentioned nightclubs per se. Which other places are these scary places?
You have, for example, for us, Dipakunda, we have a place that
Dipakunda?
Yes.
I lived for decades in Dipakunda. Where in Dipakunda? I used to live around the market. I mean, there now you can't do, you can't take drugs because all that area is now a marketplace.
I'm not far from the market. I'm just at Senegambia Garage, Sonakunda.
Okay.
Yeah, this happens around. We have a place that we have in mind, but we don't have the legally.
Yeah, you can't name it, otherwise,
Yes,
they
yes.
might. Okay.
But I can say this place is totally is affecting our community.
Is it a notorious place?
It's a notorious place, but basically, I think I have no negative thing. City Pop is a place that, let me just say the name. City Pop is a place that we don't want anymore in our community. City Pop is a place that that is legally, inappropriately, established in our area
As a business.
As a business, because as limited my understanding into law is, there is a TDA, tourism developmental area, where you have all these tourist attraction facilities should be, and then there is a clear distinction between a residential area and a tourism area, and City Pop should not be at a residential area, predominantly residential area. For example, somewhere around Marina Parade, around State House, around AdVTH, you cannot build there a factory to pollute the environment.
Because the president will not allow you.
Yes.
And the people around the president will not allow you. But you don't live next to a president.
Yes.
And you don't live...
This is the point that I'm trying to make, that we are the residents of different communities. We have seen residential areas transforming to become a tourist attraction area, which is very abnormal in a civilized society.
People are converting their homes
into guest house
and motels and all of that.
Yes.
Exactly.
And you see places. We have one of our member at around around Costa Road. She said that the area, there is a guest house there, and that guest house is attracting, different businesses at night. And there are young people around that area, and in the early hours of the morning, you will see people exiting there. And those people living around that area, they are curious. They want to know what is the business there. And that business would gradually influence the entire area, and that area will become a pop at the end of the day. And we should not attract certain things. City Pop is a place that organized crimes happen. City Pop is a place where you have girls going.
Allegedly. You
can't say that.
Yeah.
But we have people going there, young people going there. We are not against their entertainment, their companionship there. All that we are against is that particular business should not be in a residential area. They should respect our privacy, and we are seeing that happening there, and different areas as well, at Costa Road as well.
Okay.
So gradually, we think the right stakeholders should guide them, to secure a place around the TDA, so that anyone who wants that particular entertainment will go direct to them, will go to that area and then enjoy themselves. We have seen people want enjoyment going direct to the Senegambia area, enjoying themselves and all that. But the residential area is strictly a residential area. It should not be conflicted with any other, any other thing that is detrimental to that society.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country, with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Suway.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de dik. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Ano lay waxal?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave in Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Bisul mu fine? Wave, your money is yours.
All right, we are talking to Abdou, Aziz, what's his name again?
Sohna.
Sohna.
Yes.
All right. Of Bulldrug, Gambia. What do you think is fueling the drug problem?
The drug problem in Gambia has various issues that are fueling drug addiction in Gambia, between the consumption and the traffickers and the people who are supposed to be the the change makers. There is no. I mean, we lack this communication between the people who consume drug and the people who are at the authority level, to make sure that this communication, not to communicate with the traffickers, because the traffickers should be haunted, but the people who consume this drug, between the people who consume it and the authorities, there should be a clear consensus that they have, in a sense that they will have a direction, whereby it's not only arresting and sending behind bars is the solution. I mean, as you said, very soon we will have a drug rehabilitation center.
Yes.
This is needed. I mean, you cannot have a country for over 50 years without, drug rehabilitation center, because certain people are getting into drugs because it's not the sensago. Sometimes they got into it, and then gradually it become worsened. So we saw how drugs are coming in. Most of these drugs, they are not locally produced. They're coming from outside. For example, when we look at these tablets coming outside, the tablets like Rohypnol is coming from North America. You see Mexicans are using it, Americans are using it. So how did that got into Gambia? How did that get into our country?
Where are they made?
They're not made in the Gambia.
No, but I mean, where are they made? They Gambia could be a transit point for these drugs.
For these drugs. So we saw this is a not American originated drug.
And I'm saying, could it be that the drugs are made, somewhere where to get to North America, they can only pass through countries like the Gambia?
Yes, that is why we should be more vigilant. We should be more organized. If we organize, we can solve these things. If Gambia is neglecting the young people in the realms of drugs, then we have no tomorrow. Even our today will be shattered, because when you look at the countries that drug dominated, they are no more in the path of economic growth. For example, countries like Pakistan. If you look at the Asian countries,
Pakistan has a drug problem?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to name Haiti and all these other.
This from just Asia, and you see. If you look at the countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, and all those countries, you see how they have drug problems compared to the South Asian countries, like you have China and all those countries. You see the difference between them. You see the economic potential between the difference, because drug change the mindset, the mentality.
It leads us to ask whether the problem is how authorities deal with drugs. If you are caught with drugs in China, what will happen to you?
Yes. It's
totally different with the way we handle drugs here.
Yes.
Would you like the Gambia to deal with drugs, the drug problem, the way China deals with the drug problem?
Yes, we should deal with drug with harshness, but with the right facilities in place.
What does that mean?
We should make sure that when we caught someone with drug, faces the full force of the law, without deterrence.
Does that even mean the firing squad if necessary?
No. We don't need the firing squad. We are a small country, we're less than 4 million, 3 million.
Yeah, even if traffickers are not Gambians?
If the traffickers are not Gambian, we should not treat them with VIP.
Is that how we are treating them currently?
Yeah, sometimes you see non-Gambian, because I don't want to refer to a fellow African as a foreigner, but non-Gambian, trafficking certain things in Gambia, At the end of the day, you will see the person less than 10 years and the person is repatriated back.
Or they become high profile.
Yes,
I mean, every day they go to court. I mean, the media reports about them.
I mean, treating them as they're very important.
Celebrities somehow.
Yes.
Because they are in the news every day.
Yes, yeah. While we have our young brothers and sisters who should be trained at the Mile 2 prisons with skill and equip them with the technical know-how so that when they come back, they have potential in our economy. They are left at the remand wing for years without having a trial, for years without having a testimony, years without having an interview with a social worker, with a with a lawyer, with anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you work with or on behalf of these people in remand?
No.
Forgotten more or less, as you described.
As for now, we have never visited the prisons, but we are planning to have invitation waiting to apply to visit some people. But we have three people who have been there and they are out, and we've been discussing with them. And one of them has left. Is now at Mauritania.
He's taken the back way.
Yes, and then when last we communicate with him, he wants to come back. I mean, imagine.
Why does he want to come back? Is it because he's suffering in Mauritania?
Yes, he's not having the financial muscle to continue his journey. Imagine someone from prison. I mean, having in less than 2 years, having the desperate situation leading him to go. I think someone from prison should have at least at least his or her hands should be able to do something.
Should have skills.
Should have skill. At least if that person, was skilled today, at least in Mauritania, he would have been able to do painting, carpentry, whatever. Just to survive. But he is suffering there. We do not have communication directly with him, but we have communication with his cousin. His cousin told us about him because when we sent a WhatsApp message to him, we did not get him. So we reach out to the cousin. That's how we know he's at Mauritania. This is how far the system is not conducive or fitting for young people in that remand to have the potential when they go out. Yeah. When you come out, you should have the gateway to lead your own life, because you have been in confinements for years or months. At least that confinement should be utilized as a rehabilitation process to rehabilitate the person from the mindset that the person has before coming in, and the mindset that the person have when he is in the prison, and the mindset that you want that person to have and maintain when he goes out. This is 3 stage of transition that the prison should make sure that these young people have when they are in the prisons.
In talking about rehabilitation, you lamented the fact that we don't have any such facility in the country. Let me ask you, how do you see the role of the Tanka Hospital?
Tanka is very important. Tanka is doing well, but when you go to Tanka, you will realize that, I don't know whether they forgot about Tanka or they're neglecting Tanka or what, but Tanka should...
They meaning the government, the authorities.
The authorities. Specifically Ministry of Health should make sure Tanka is... it's social welfare as well, should make sure Department of Social Welfare should
which is under the Ministry of Gender and Social Welfare.
Yes, these are two different institutions that I expect that when you go into Tanka, you will feel comfort. You will feel. I do not expect to see it as comfort as our homes, but at least it should be very fitting.
So you've been there. What's life like, and what does it look like inside Tanka?
I've been to Tanka several times. I've been to Tanka with family member. I've been to Tanka with friends. I've been to Tanka with Madam Psychology Lecturer, UTG. We went there. I've been to Tanka Tanka for charity, but I'm not going to deal with the merits of Tanka Tanka, but I do know that Tanka Tanka is not, treated as other institutions, because Tanka Tanka is an institution that is the last hope for a certain group of people.
Mm-hmm.
You see, even medication, all my engagements at Tanka Tanka, the medication, you're the one who is going to buy them.
Oh.
Yeah, you're the one who's going to buy them, the injection, all that. You see, the majority, good number of their cases are drug-related cases. I do not know the statistics, do not know the numbers, but good number of their cases is drug-related cases. So
and because they are drug-related, is that why you feel the stigma attached to drug use has automatically transferred to how the institution, Tanka Tanka is also treated by society and possibly the authorities?
Yes, because it's a place that so far them
True.
Yeah, so sometimes family members will have this. What
is Lakatin?
It's just it's a tablet.
Okay.
It's this psychiatric medication. They consume. Whenever you tend to take someone there or you go there, you will see the reality there. But I do not expect to see. I do not expect with our level to see this luxurious Tanka Tanka. But what I expect to see is to have facilities that will rehab them. Tanka Tanka is not an institution that has the capacity, the muscle, to accommodate. What this country needs.
Well, let's hope this rehabilitation center, it's purpose-built, will, at least be fitted with some of the facilities that, you wish for people who need rehabilitation. I have a text message here, very interesting one. Good morning, Uncle. Good morning, Peter. Good initiative by youth determined to make a difference in their communities. They seem to have teamed up with community leaders, which is good, but they also need to reach out to medical professionals and legal experts for additional support. Sadly, the drug use epidemic is driven by desperation, hopelessness, ready availability of all types of drugs, from marijuana to kush to crack cocaine. Unlike Singapore, which has a zero tolerance for recreational drug use, we seem to have a permissive environment where captured drug traffickers go free.
Yeah.
What do you make of that contribution? Suggesting, people you should work with, medical professionals, legal experts. I think I heard at the beginning of our conversation that you have, a few members from those professional areas.
Yeah. We would be very glad to at least to have a communication with him or her, because we have members who are, some of them are medical doctors, nurses, different fields. But we are not saying that is enough. If any resource person that is Gambian, non-Gambian, who has interest, just let us know. We will come to you. We don't need you to come to us. We will come to you. And we are still learning. We are still learning. We are not experts in drugs. We are not experts in law. We are not experts in anything. We are learning still, and we are interested to learn. And if he wants to help, our doors are open. We will welcome him, and then we will learn from him, and we will pick it up from there.
Tell us more about Bulldrug Gambia and who you're aiming to reach.
We're aiming to reach out to all stakeholders. The stakeholders that are relevant in this regard. especially the DLEA. They are our primary institution that we want to partner with. They have the expertise. They have everything it takes to understand better. No matter how we understood our streets, they know this line very well. They know drugs very well. They know what is, attached to this area. But what we also know, and no one can take it from us, we know the streets better. So it's two-sided. So we know the streets better. We are not going to show them to go and arrest.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, okay, they know the law. They're the custodians of the drug law. You know the streets better. How can you work harmoniously?
Yes.
They are out to enforce the law. You are out to help, drug addicts.
Yeah, that is why, we are working on a draft document to present to them, and after presenting to them, and then we will seek partnership with them. Anytime they have trainings, they can train us to understand more, either by their laws, by their mechanisms, whatever. We are working on this draft document because we want to make sure this draft document, before presented to them, is all inclusive. We don't want it to be like Damafate fee. We want it to be complete before taking it to them. So we know the streets. We are not going to show them to go and arrest anyone. We are not going to show them to go and terror or hypnotize anyone. All that we are going to do, if we are going to work with them, is to make sure that the streets are safe, because when the streets are safe, homes will be safe. We are going to guide...
Does that not warrant, making out who the traffickers are, who are, getting the drugs into the country, and the sellers, and putting them behind bars? I can understand, wanting to protect the addicts, they are victims. But what about the perpetrators, the people who are bringing in the drugs, the people who are selling the drugs, distributing the drugs? I mean, those people, they don't deserve any protection, do they?
No, we do not even have yet any engagement with a trafficker. All we have engaged with is consumers.
Are you trying to seek out traffickers and, distributors?
Yes, these are very powerful people. These are people who we cannot engage.
But knowing them helps.
Yes. If we know...
leading D-League to them,
yes,
helps.
Is very troublesome to identify a trafficker in our society. I'm going to say this. A trafficker is a dangerous man.
Of course, we know that.
He's a dangerous man. A trafficker cannot be played with just a know-how. You need to have the resources. Today, when we see someone trafficking drugs, the source, we will never know the original source without the authorities. But we can see the person selling it. But there are different levels of sellers as well.
Oh, are there?
There are different levels of sellers.
Tell us about that.
For us, we have maybe it could be the fourth party, or that from the original source, maybe is the 10th person we know in the streets. But originally, it came all the way from, you can count to 8 or 9 person before reaching the original source. So this is a very big difference, and when you look at the dichotomy, you will realize that, for example, Mr. X is the person who trafficked it in the Gambia, and Y is the person who is the ground agent. and Z is the person leading his market. T over there is the one who is going to do the logistics. N there is the one who is going to liaise them with the club owners, bar owners, with the market, the person who's familiar with the market. And another A man over there is the one who is going to bring in the boys and be the agent and have his commission without buying them. And will be the who will collect the money from these sellers. And that seller will sit over there and will say that I have a stock. And that seller will say I have a stock, and that stock would be distributed. And that person collecting from that guy who has the sweet stock, now you take it and then you go and pack it in small sizes, and then you start supplying another person to sell. Now, originally we have over 9 people engaged in this. Now you have that person giving it to the person with bulk to go and sell, and then that's how you have different people selling these things.
So it's a complex web.
It's a complex web. So you don't get into this, this sophisticated or delicate situation without understanding the real context of what is on the ground. That is why, for us, Bulldrug Gambia, we have, our primary focus is the consumers. If the DLA wants to cope how the traffickers get into the market, yes, that is our domain. We can, yes. But beyond that, it is the people with the legal authority by the act of the law to execute certain things. So we have our limitation. We have where we can have visibility with clarity. We have where we cannot have visibility without clarity. So where we have visibility with clarity, without dragging us to court, yes, we are doing that. We will do that.
You don't want to be dragged into court, even if just to give evidence.
We are not yet. Yes, even to give evidence of evidence for purpose. Yes, we can. Okay. But to be dragged into court where we do not have the resources, that capacity. Today,
to be dragged into court as in to be sued?
Yes, okay. To be sued. For right now, if you sue Bulldrug Gambia, you are just going to trouble us. We have nothing. We are not even taking a lawyer. We are going to court with bare hands.
Okay.
Yes. So we have our limitations.
Okay.
It's about gradual process. When we reach there, we can have the muscle to do certain things.
You might be interested in this text, in that case. Good morning, Uncle Peter. I hope you're doing well. I must say this is a commendable initiative. It holds great potential. And I strongly believe that if there's a collaboration with TASWIG is the Association of Social Workers in the Gambia, it could lead to an even greater impact. TASWIG brings a wealth of experience and grassroots engagement which could complement the goals of the initiative perfectly. Together, I believe they could drive meaningful change and reach more communities in need. Ever heard of TASWIG? By the way, Aliu Cisse, thank you. Thank you very much for your text message.
No. I would really love to.
I'll give you Aliu's message. Aliu's number to call.
Yes, we will love to call that.
Right after this.
Yes.
So you're aiming to go to schools. What to say in schools? There may be parents worried that somebody is going to schools to talk about drugs. My child never heard about drugs, perhaps, and now they are, going to introduce the subject of drugs. And before you know, my child will be curious to find out, this thing that is being talked about.
Yeah.
How would you answer parents who might be thinking like that?
Yes, we are not going to discuss about drugs in primary schools. The different level of discussion, we tend to...
So what will you discuss at primary school, and why will you discuss drugs in the, education system.
In junior schools and senior school, we're going to talk about drug.
Okay, primary schools?
Primary schools.
Or lower basic?
Lower basic
no, lower
schools.
basic, yeah.
We are not going to talk about drug directly. We are going to use, indirect mechanism to talk to them.
Like how? What's an indirect mechanism?
Yes. The influence that is in the streets. Bulnangu ken muyobale la. Hale,
Hale yu deñ kumpa yi ñu ne la yóbbaale ci lan.
Yes. We, for example, we encourage them on weekends to go and train at academies, to go Dara, to continue going to school, to have, group studies, to make sure that they are not having this foreign friend that is bringing something new.
Okay. Even though you're using foreign as, foreign, meaning strange.
Yes, strange friend that is bringing something new. For example, when you have a group of young people in an area, for example, around Kotu here, you have a group of young people staying in the same block. They have the same habits from the get-go when they're growing up. Whenever you see something new, knows that one of them brought a new idea from school, or from somewhere, or someone new is coming in to bring something new. This is how the peer influence comes in. So this is what we are going to discuss with the young people, especially the pupils. But students at junior school and senior school, we are going to talk to them seriously about how drug could lead their life to.
Okay. How can you, run an important institution like Bulldrug without funding? I mean, how do you fund your activities right now? When you go out, to talk to students in primary or, junior or high school or even university level, I mean, how do you take care of your movement, for instance?
Right now, we have never begged, we have never looked for funds yet.
So how do you fund your activities?
Yes, we have our members contribute. These are
that's not sustainable.
That's not sustainable. The only thing we have as of now is our members contributing to, when we are doing certain things, we will just put up together and then we do it. But gradually we are
so
looking forward.
Where are you exactly? I was going to say, where are you hoping to to find funds to fund your activities so that you make an impact? You won't make an impact. I mean, you intend to make an impact, but to make an impact, you need resources.
Yes, we are being very careful. We it's part of our constitution. We are not. We will be open to take any support from anyone.
Any support?
Yes,
even from drug dealers.
But that is why we be very careful. It's clear in our constitution. That's what I'm coming to say. We are not going to take anything from someone that comes with influence. That is why we are not going randomly to seek help. That is why it's only partnership we want. We do not want anyone to fund us, to say that I am the person that is funded, because we do not know the source of your income. We do not know who you are. We do not know that.
So if money was to come from the president, would you question, the source of the money?
If it is coming legally,
no,
we will take it.
So you will question?
Yes, we will definitely have questions.
In order to establish the legality.
The legality of that. We do not want to go to Jane Commission tomorrow.
Receiving money from the president could lead to a Jane Commission tomorrow?
Tomorrow. We don't want to go there and say that.
And I'm asking,
does
receiving money from the president have the potential of leading to a Jane Commission tomorrow?
Yes, if it depends on the context.
Okay.
For example, if today we have a lead to the president and the president gives us money, we are going to take the money, but we will ask questions. We will want to know that whether, is it a check or is it a cash? and then we will need evidence basis. We will have pictures of those money, and we will have the records set straight. So that tomorrow we will say that, okay, we did not request for this for XYZ. This is what led for the president giving us certain amount of money. And this is how we are going to fund it. And then if the president funds us, we are going to write activity report and then the dividend of that expenditure back to him to show him that you give us $5, and then this is how we spent it.
And we're using the president as example, but you did the same way with any opposition political leader, minister, director general of an institution, CEO of a business and everything. Even if I were to give you money, unfortunately for you, I don't have money to give. Only airtime. Would you subject my financial gift to such scrutiny?
Yeah, but what you have given us today is beyond the money. So, but we will always ask questions, and we will always get back to you whenever we take something, because it is very important to have the records straight. Because I might not be there tomorrow with Bulldrug Gambia, and majority of the members might not be there for the next 5 years. So whoever comes in should meet up a very organized structure. We are not encouraging everyone in the organization to access the money, to access the expenditure, to access the funds, anything. All that we need is when someone is funding us, we want to know whether it is with clear consent.
Okay.
Yes.
And finally, as you were coming to the program, you said a colleague,
yes,
a fellow Bulldrug, Gambia member, called you to give you information. Have we covered that information? And if we haven't, what is that information? Because you said you were willing to share.
Yes, we have partially covered it.
Okay, then let's give it its due then.
Yes, it's just that a message that whenever you see, because he's a healthcare personnel, he said whenever you see your child coming in every day at home, as a parent, as a brother, as a guardian.
I'm listening because yesterday was Father's Day and I want to continue being a good father because I have kids at home. So yes,
you should.
So whenever the children come back
at home, build this observation habit with the child. Without building this observation habit,
what should I be looking out for?
Yes, you should be looking out for how his demeanor is changing, how his attitude is changing, how his frequent interest to go out is changing.
You're saying he. I'm talking about 3 girls at home.
Yes,
they're all ladies.
For the records, girls are getting more into drugs now.
Yeah, but okay. So talk to me about either he or she.
Either he or she.
Does what apply for the he also apply for the she?
For the she, yes.
Okay, so he or she.
Yeah, because the addiction leads to prostitution, leads to many things.
Okay.
Yes. So
so you look out for change of what? Habit, did you say?
Yes.
Behavior, change of behavior.
Yes. Because when the person, all these things, when they start changing, there is something foreign influencing the child or is on something foreign. So when you notice, do not hesitate, do not neglect the people around him, telling you that this person is into this. Do not discard this. Do not discard it.
So if a child's behavior changes, don't brush aside any negative comment about what they might be involved in.
Yes, because we all love our family. We all want to protect the family name. We do not want anyone outside to tell us negative about our family members. But the reality is, do not brush it out. Just be vigilant about it. Because most of these young people, a good number of these young people, they got into drugs before the family knows that they are into drug. They have already addicted. Before the transition before the person becomes an addict, make sure that you start, changing. The rehab starts at home. Make sure that you start changing the person's mindset. When you change it, then gradually, before it leads to addiction, the person might reverse.
Fantastic. Abdou Aziz, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's Abdou Aziz Sohna of Bulldrug, Gambia. Tomorrow he won't be my guest. Tomorrow my guest will be the CEO of Access Bank, and we'll be talking about the takeover of Standard Chartered. Thanks for listening to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez this morning, or watching on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow, as I said, with the CEO of Access Bank. Have a very good day. Stay tuned to programs of West Coast Radio.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jams, Wave.
Yo, Abdou, yo lu tax doo dee dégg lu tax mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Xana lay waxal.
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Access Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Bisul mu fine. Wave, your money is yours.